Is our gear designed to fail? Is it designed to fall apart to make more money? Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, a channel about skateboarding in every form of media I can find it. Today we are answering some of your questions about skateboarding. These were all submitted through my website, radratvideo.com. The first of which is from Matthew M, who said, just wanted to know if we're ever going to meet Tony on the channel from your old skate DVDs and what type of video you'll make with him. Suggestion is either a game of skate on video or an interview. I don't think so. I mean, like, if I don't see Tony too often. Last time I saw him was like 6 years ago. We live in different states, and we were planning a trip last year. We were both going to meet up and like have a shared vacation, and it didn't go through. But when that does happen, I can't imagine I'm going to be whipping out the camera to produce content. You know, like I would just want to hang out. Playing a game of skate could be fun, and I'm sure we would, assuming I'm over the injury issues I've got right now. But would that be content for the channel? I don't think so. Like, I think we would just hang out. And you know, only a few people, like when I uploaded the old shared skate videos that he and I did, they weren't all that popular. Like, I think the majority of people who are subscribed to the channel haven't seen those. So like, I don't know how much draw there would be for that necessarily. But yeah, I mean, I hope I hang out with him soon, but I don't think we're going to produce anything. Although we are we are making a song together. At least we're talking about it. No one is ever going to hear the song except for me, him, and his other friend. But that's a different story, and you'll probably never hear that story. All right. The next question, coincidentally, also from Matthew M. I did not notice that until right now. From watching your old videos like The Antidote, I was wondering if you ever got kicked out of any spots in your hometown, and what was the reason behind people kicking you out of spots, and did you go back? So in my town, there was almost nothing, depending on what you considered my town. Like my address was in a certain town, and that town, I don't think, had a single skate spot. Only a couple of the roads were paved. Like, I don't know if there was as much as a waxed curb in that town. It's possible, but I don't know of one. But I went to school in a different town. That town was so small that I had to bus into another town that was a little bit less small. And there were a couple of spots there. There was a waxed curb at the school, and there was a waxed curb at the shopping center. There were a couple of stair sets, and you could get kicked out of all of those. And I got kicked out skating at the school once, which is like, I mean, we're kind of in the way, I guess. It wasn't in the front where parents would come pick up the kids. It's over on the side. But there was still cars. There was still a parking lot. So I guess it was a little bit dangerous. But, like, come on. You can't let some kids do slappy nose slides on this curb for a while after school. The other one, that other wax curb in my town, I never even got the chance to grind because it was this long, curved, painted curb. But it was in front of the doors for 3 different stores. And it was a part of the parking lot where, like, cars had to go through right there. It was the only way to access this other section. And like, it was just the worst possible spot to try to grind a curb. I think I went there with some friends once. I don't think I'm imagining that, but I don't really remember it that specifically. I do remember that curb being waxed. And I remember like whoever owned that store, the manager, whatever, coming and getting upset that we were like scaring off the customers. But yeah. And then in Tony's town, which was another half hour out of that town, there was like a no skateboarding within, you know, between this street and this street and this street and this street. If you skateboard there, you get a ticket. And I remember the cops stopping us once as we were trying to skate on this little curb, and giving us this long discussion about like what ages you're allowed to do things. And like, you know, if you're 18 now, you can get a ticket for this, and if you're 16, you're allowed to have sex. And we're like, what are you trying to say to us? Because I don't think we said we were, you know, old enough to get tickets. I think we said, I don't remember how old we actually were, but I think we claimed to be like 16 or 17. And like that was the lecture that he gave us. It was super weird. But we got kicked out of some spots because of that. We got kicked out of a skate park because like it would close. Like it was an outdoor skate park, and they would just come and close the fence and lock it. And we had to climb the fence one time. And I don't remember why. If it was just closed because like the park, I don't know. It was too early or too late, or it had rained, and when they closed the baseball fields, they closed the skate park. I don't remember why. But we would drive all the way down to the skate park. It was pretty far away, and it just might be closed. And we got in trouble there one time. This guy in a truck came and was like, telling us we had to get out of there, and really weird. But yeah, I've been kicked out of my share of spots. All right. The next question is from George. It says, skate companies for decks and clothing seem to come and go quite often. Feels hard to keep up sometimes. Is the market oversaturated, or is there some other reason as to why these companies often close? P.S. I love you and I want your babies. No thanks. But it is a little oversaturated, but how to make a brand successful is really complicated, and it's all about branding. Like I work in branding, so like of course I feel like that's one of the most important things. But when you're making a skateboard that's just going to hang right next to an almost identical skateboard from a different company, it's all about the branding. Like I went to a place in San Francisco called, hold on, I wrote it down, Haight Ashbury, which is like got all these fancy stores. And I just went to this used clothing store to check it out. And they had a Supreme hoodie, I think it was. And it was $900. There was like a Thrasher shirt that was like $80 or something like that. Like I don't remember all the specifics, but they're just normal clothes. It's not the super amazing material that'll never get dirty, and it's the softest thing you've ever felt in your life. Like the reason why it's expensive is because of the hype of the brand, right? So how do you get that brand hype in skateboarding? In clothing, like being a skateboard brand and getting hype as clothing is just going to be luck, I think. Like some famous person is seen with it on one time, and then hopefully things go from there. But to have a deck is different from clothes because they're more disposable. It has to be useful. It has to work as a skateboard well. And if it does work well as a skateboard, then no, you don't keep it. Like it's really tough to build hype and build branding for a deck company. So I think the biggest thing that works right now is having a popular face for the brand. Like having somebody that you like who writes for that company and who can talk about it. I know it sounds like I'm describing someone like me. I'm not launching a deck company. This is not where this is going. But like somebody, like a personal face to it, so that you feel like you are a part of it and you feel like you have some kind of connection with the company. I think that's the best way for a deck company to be successful now. Because like building branding and hype and all that stuff as a deck company is really tough, but it's essential, I think. All right. Next question here is from Roman, who says, longtime viewer here since your freestyle tutorials on driveways and tricks on homemade curbs. That's been a long time. Love the channel and how it evolved. Man, my first trick tip I recorded in 2005. And I don't think there was anywhere to upload it yet. Like, I don't know why I even made it. It was just on a tape. I don't know, man. It was just something I've always enjoyed doing.
Let's break one of these down. As you start to unwind your arms, you need to slide your front foot off heel first. Your back foot should push the board to make it spin like a frontside shove it, and then follow it. It doesn't need to be in contact with the board, because that could just slow it down.
Back to the question, since decks become stronger, trucks don't break as easily, and wheels don't flat spot, shoes are more durable than ever, I'd like to hear your opinion on skateboarding clothing. I mean, it's the only thing in skateboarding that could use massive improvement for the needs of skateboarders, especially pants that rip or wear super fast. Why do you think skateboarding-related clothing companies aren't doing anything about that, or am I missing something? Greetings from Germany, from Roman. So I was trying to look into like really durable skateboard pants, and I was just looking up like what the most popular kinds of pants are that people talk about in blogs and forums and all that kind of stuff. And the things that people like for skateboarding in their pants is flexibility, and like that makes the most sense. Being able to move as much as possible and not being like held back by how heavy your pants are or whatever. Like the fit and the flexibility is the most important thing for a lot of people. And if you were to, sew in these extra patches and stuff and make the clothes more durable, then you would lose some of that. They'd be heavier. They'd be more like stiff. It'd be harder to skate in them. It kind of makes me think of when I used to go to skate parks, like the indoor ones, you'd have to wear pads. And like having a helmet on doesn't make that big of a difference. But as a kid, they required full pads. So like knee pads, shoulder pads. Shoulder pads, elbow pads. They didn't require shoulder pads. This was in the 80s. But you had to wear full pads, and like it was harder to do normal stuff. Like if I wanted to do a kickflip on flat, but I have knee pads on, I'm not used to knee pads, and I don't move as well as I would like with them on. So I'm thinking, if you have these heavy patches and the extra stitches and all this kind of stuff in pants to make them more durable, it can make them a little bit worse for actually skating in. But the other thing I was thinking of is just the cost. So I have made shirts before. For example, this one it still has a sticker on it. Did not intend to find that right in that moment, but that was kind of funny. And if you want to make a shirt, it's really easy. You can even get like your brand name printed on it, like a custom tag. You can get printed, in like a bunch of different spots. You can get printed like on the back, like not just the tag, but actually have like a logo printed on there. And you can do all that kind of stuff, but the shirt is already made, like you're not custom designing the fit of a shirt. And you can get a shirt made for like $6. That's pretty good as long as you're buying in bulk. But like if you were to custom design something, that's a much bigger difference. And so would it make sense to do that? Pants are a bit of a different story because you don't just white label. That's what that's called, when you just buy something that you're allowed to put your own brand on and no one knows where it came from. You don't really do that with pants that I'm aware of. Can you just buy like blank jeans and put your own brand name on it? Maybe. But like custom making something that's designed to be as durable as possible, it's just not what's working right now in branding and in companies and everything. Like I like a subreddit is called Buy It for Life, and they talk about like, yeah, here's a stove my grandma used in the 50s and we still have it and it still works fine. Or like, here's a stovetop coffee maker that's been used every single day since 1983 and it still works just fine. And then people saying, man, I bought this 2020 model stove and it is already dead. And like just making things that are designed to never fail is not really what people do now. You want stuff to wear out so that they have to buy another one. You want your customers to have to buy another. And I remember the brand. It was a shoe brand called Savior, and I had these shoes. I know I've talked about them before, but they blew my mind. These shoes, like I would blow through shoes. I buy some Vans and have a hole in them by the end of the week. And this brand, I had them until I outgrew them. I was a teenager at the time, was still growing, but like I outgrew the shoes, and I skated every single day, and they were fine. They didn't get damaged at all. And I'm thinking like, I bought them because the company had gone out of business and I could buy them on clearance. That's why I had some. And after I outgrew those, I couldn't find them anymore. They were gone. And like, I always thought, if they didn't last so long, if they didn't work so well, would they still have been in business? If I had to buy 3 pairs that year instead of only 1, well, that's triple their business. So like, it's a whole complicated thing. I think just being somebody's favorite is a more important thing. So like if the pants fit well, they feel good, that's what people are going to care about. That's what people come back and buy again. But if you've had these pants for like 15 years and they still look new because they're so durable, that's not going to make you run out and buy more for the most part. And if you're trying to build your company and move as much product, being somebody's favorite and being replaceable is more important. But that's it. That's a tiny bit of insight from the branding world, working with companies and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for now. That was the last question. If you have one of your own, go to radratvideo.com and you can submit it on the homepage. It sends an email to me. I read every single one of those, and I always appreciate it when people send in questions, so don't hesitate to do so. If you really like the channel, you can sponsor me on Patreon. You can hit the join button on YouTube. You can subscribe. You can send the link to this video to your buddies or anything else. You can comment, hit the like button, all that stuff. But that's all. I appreciate you hanging out, and I'll see you next time.